No, I was wondering, like, should we like talk into the mic if we talk with each other, or it doesn't matter? Can I just talk?
Technically, you look at each other and your mouth is a little bit close to the mic.
Okay, so this is good enough.
Yeah, this is good enough. Also, you can relax a bit when someone's talking, and then you can lean in a bit.
Yeah, because now I don't see Ava so good.
You can put it a little bit closer to you.
Yeah,
then.
put it also a bit lower than mine.
Low,
so look
yeah,
over.
I'm gonna do this. Is it falling? No?
No, I think it's good.
Yes, we are technicians now.
Ja, not yet.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, naar welke kant?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then pull it and push it backwards in, and then
Yeah, it's more to just put it a bit loud.
yeah.
Voila.
Now it's like you got it.
I think if it's not too low now, huh? Yeah, maar ja, because
This is a research.
Yeah, I think it's
okay?
good. Yeah.
yeah, because
Really?
it's like
Yeah, you don't really. I think it records. I just
Yeah.
like for. I also like just like for. Yeah, this is so perfect. This is nice. Yeah. For those who are listening, this is the Me or Me season podcast. Basically, we were talking about me a bit earlier. Great. Laugh at my jokes. That's what I love. And when we were talking, I forgot to press record. So now, we are like, I want to try to talk about the conversation again, but now it's going to be awkward, but I don't care.
no, but I can start again because it was actually
Yeah.
a question of me. So I know you're an actor, theater maker, a director, making movies. And then I forgot that you were a dancer. And then you started to talk about dancing.
Yeah, but most of the time it's quite the opposite. People forget I'm an actor. And dancing is something that I think I've taken a bit of a role in my life ever since I came to Belgium. And I think acting was such a big role when I was in Ghana. So when I came here, I was like a spy. What I did was I did extra jobs, and then I tried to gather connections from people, like numbers, and ask questions that I'm curious about. Dive deeper into these types of research to figure out what I want to do and how to get there. Because being in Belgium, I think for me it was very scary. I didn't know how to speak the language.
Yeah.
I got very depressed at a certain point in my life, and my mom fought very hard to bring me back. So yeah,
To bring you back
from depression.
from depression,
Yeah, actually, she went to my school and sort of like ordered them to create a theater play for the school, but it was technically for me. And and they came up with this theater play, I think called Beauty and the Beast, by in Okan learning how to speak the Netherlands version. And we had to do small auditions, and I got the lead, which was very nice. And I got to showcase my talent, and I think it brought me back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I started diving deeper into that world.
Yeah, I can also imagine that because you talked about dancing being more presence now you're in Belgium, that you don't need language for that. So
Yeah,
either where you are.
But the thing is, I didn't know where to go. And
Yeah,
also,
of course.
my LO teacher, I asked us, everyone in the class, what do you want to be? And I was like, I want to be an actor. He was like, there are no acting schools here. So that took me.
That's not true.
Yeah, but you know what happened? It took me to a different place because my mom wanted me to study finance. I'm very good at maths, even though I don't want to be. I accidentally know how to calculate things. And then after I'm done with my test or exams or whatever, I forget them. So it only activates when I need them. So it's like, a switch. And so when my mom was like, you're good with maths, go study finances. So I went there and I was studying, and I got more information about there are acting schools in Amsterdam, they're here. And then after 1 year of boredom with financing and trying to not yawn to offend teachers, I went from Handel to studying acting in Woordkunstsamen.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
Kunstmajora.
Cadiz.
Cadiz.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was such a difficult period because it was torturous.
Torture?
It was torturous because I was very afraid that my acting style that I brought all over from Ghana to here was gonna be so different, but in fact it wasn't.
Is it? Yeah. Why?
I mean, I adjusted to Belgium style of acting in a way that fitted me, but it was still like I thought it was gonna be such a difference because Ghana we overact,
Yeah.
we overact, and it makes things very funny. And makes scenes very cool and very nice. And here it's more contained a bit, like contained. So you have to gradually see. You have to watch like a drama series. It's like a drama series. Like it's not expressive wise, but it's very like I'm trying to be a professional wise. You guys take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Do you have an idea why the difference exists? What makes it that we feel the need to be more contained and slow and maybe dramatic in a way? And what do you think in Ghana brings the need to bring more laughter?
I think Ghana people are very funny naturally. I think I've met a few Ghanaian people here in Belgium, but everyone that I meet who is a Ghanaian is funny, and they
That's
have friends
amazing.
who actually say that they are funny. And I know that because and also I think when we make our movies and TV shows and whatever, we put comedy in every situation.
Okay, cool.
Because I think Ghana we suffer more than other countries, and I think we need the laughter also. We need the balance of it all. And I think when I'm watching a Ghanaian movie, for example, like when you see a witch trying to bewitch another person, it is very funny in a way that you're like, oh, I'm relaxed, I'm watching this, you know? And when I come to Belgium and I'm watching the family, I can't watch the entire drama because I'm like, where is the pizzazz? Where is the jokes in there? Like, come on, don't put all jokes in the words. Put it also in your body. You know, like Family Matters, for example. The TV shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, those got me because they had a bit of African style acting in them and, you know, expression. But yeah. But
cool.
you are a physical actor, I know, because I called you and you were like, I'm not really an actor, I'm a physical actor. And I was like, what the hell is a physical actor?
Yeah, it's true. No, it's because before we were also talking about dancing, and one of my first really interests in performing were at a birthday party. I think I was turning 10 or something like that, and we watched the Step Up movie, Step Up 4, and I fell in love with the dancing. So that's where I started. But so I did 1 year of popping in LGU.
Popping is the hip hop style.
Yeah, it's like the robotic,
Yeah,
like where you get the hits. Yeah, this stuff.
Cool. Okay.
And then I found out that it was getting like a bit too competitive for me. So there was like this focus on going to battles, and I loved the vibe in there, but I didn't really like the little bit mean side of it.
Oh yeah, you had to find yourself also in the things that you were doing.
Yeah, and I think also it was just because I was really young and it was like a bit overwhelming. All because I know also people in the scene who have no problem and it's just a big club of friends. But so from that I moved on to actually by accident doing auditions and then ending up in not being a school dancer, but having to use my body to portray a story or to express a feeling. Yeah.
And did you learn it in school? And if so, like what are the techniques that you learned in school that have brought you to this level that you are in now?
Yeah. So I went to the Kunstmajora in high school, which I didn't finish, but there we had some dance classes, so they were more focused on really being dance classes. So this idea of really just using your body to catch attention and to tell a story was not really present, or not in the way that I fell in love through the projects I did. So most of the things I learned were just by doing and by working with people. And then it's connects a bit with what you were saying about that one of the biggest things about being on the scene is trusting that what you're doing is good. And one of the biggest thing I learned is if you believe that your hand is really important in this scene, everybody will start looking at your hand. And there's such a powerful mind-body connection and with your audience in that I just fell in love with that.
Wow.
Like this idea that you could catch attention just by a little movement. I think that's really powerful.
It was so funny because I think I contacted Annelore first to try and get you on this podcast. By the way, thank you for coming on to this podcast as well.
Thank
and
you.
Eba, thank you also for coming.
Thanks for the invite.
It was funny because I had no idea you two knew each other. And it turns out you two know each other. How?
Go ahead.
I was his teacher.
Yes.
Because now he's going to a theater school.
Yes, I went back to school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did? On purpose? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had to finish my high school first to get to the
high school.
to the higher schools. And I did that during Corona because all of a sudden there was time, all the projects were cancelled. So, and my girlfriend was also just studying, so I just sat next to her and started studying as well. And then
Because you didn't finish your high school.
no, I didn't. I
He didn't
started.
finish.
That I didn't know.
Yes.
So you didn't finish. You just straight away went to do projects and.
Yeah, the moment I was 18 and old enough to
Do things
Stop.
for yourself.
yeah, mostly to stop school because still 18 you have to be.
But you completely dislike school. Then.
Yeah, I didn't like school.
Wow, and now you're back
Me
at.
too.
Yeah.
Eben, how are you doing then?
It's been a journey. It's been a journey, definitely.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. I actually also, to be honest, agree with you. I didn't totally like school, especially the theory of it. I think for me, when I went to study acting, I love practicality. I love the practicality of, like, when you come, you have to rehearse, you have to move your body, you have to do this. I love that. And then we have to sit in class for like a half hour, 2 hours to study maths and all of that. I really also didn't like that. So for me, as soon as I finished high school and I started getting opportunities, I took them, and now I'm here. I'm also learning how to produce as well, this podcast and everything. It's so incredible how far I've gone. But please don't stop going to school just because I said so. This is my experience. I know how I got here. Please don't stop going to school. Even if it's torturous, your mom will kill you and you'll blame me. So no. So, like, for example, you're an actress, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with physical acting?
Well, yeah, I went to school as well. I went to acting school after high school, and we got some projects with like a choreographer. Help me.
Choreographer. Yeah, it's a very decent.
And we had some movement lessons, but and the classes with the choreographer. They were quite interesting, yes, because we had to she gave us we have to use our body, so no language in what we made, and something that was holding you back from moving or things like that. And for me, it was very present. I put like a vacuum cleaner here on my mouth and one on my ass. Ass or ass, and I was playing like an old, more like a 50s, 60s housewife who's like being sucked out.
Oh yeah, life is being sucked out of you.
Of this and
These people are weird, man. I'm just saying it out loud. Like the weirdest things that I've done in my life. Like, but what are the weirdest things that both of you have done in your career? Like things that you are, because sometimes we are weird, right? But we don't know that we're weird. We just do it because we're expressing ourselves. But there are moments where you actually be like, oh man, this is weird. What I'm doing this now is just weird. Are there moments like that for both of you?
But I did it's not so weird, but it was funny. No, I was surprised from myself that I could play this so real. It was with I had a long time. I was part of a collective which is called CAC, and
That's a bit weird too.
yeah, yeah, it's shit for Dutch in Dutch. I'm tired and my English is not so well
Yes.
at the moment.
Broken English are so awesome for me because then you know how I struggle with the Netherlands.
Yeah, so sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, so we were making something in the summer after the first COVID period on a football area because it was outside football field, and it was about propaganda, and it was with Jonge Wijn, Transfer Collect, and then CAC, and. During the COVID period, we were working already on it with CAC and just making videos and stuff like that on propaganda. And I created a character, Sophie Donkers, and she was this former Miss Belgium Beauty, 2008, and she was now like making her way to politics. So I made an Instagram account for her, and during the COVID period, like with the rules and the stuff, and everybody like so she made like she posted videos and photos, and then on the football field she was also there, and she was like, but she was very quite right wing, but at the performance I was just in between the public and sometimes saying like, oh my god, what is this, and people really believed it.
Wow.
And people really were annoyed. People really asked me to go somewhere else with my racist talks.
And wow.
And it was subtle. It was not like, oh, see that black man.
I love Salo.
But it was subtle. It was yeah. So that was that's the scary thing. More like, why are they not talking Flemish? I mean, they're making this with Flemish money. This is not right. They should talk at least Flemish. And it's like, and it was sometimes scary for me because it came out very easily. So I think I know that very
mentality.
Yeah, I know it from somewhere, and it comes out too easily.
I know.
So yeah, and it was scary that people really believed that I was this person, and I loved it that I could play a bit with it. Like we were playing theater. There was a whole theater. It was a theatrical thing. Like we were making a new political party, and it was the first day of the political party, and it was with sausages and everything, and everybody. But it was clear it was theater, and then this person was there, and still it was that was interesting.
Wow,
and it's not super weird, but it felt weird
because you had to play something that was totally not you, also as a person.
And so most of the time you play very realistic persons for film or camera, but not for theater. And so that was super interesting.
Oh, I actually do realistic acting in theater. For me, when I'm doing theater, I create a character for that person because when I'm acting, I remember recently I was doing a theater project called in the We the People, and it was called This is Who Het and I created a character that was so shy throughout the entire piece. But because theater is different from television, every scene you get feedbacks to do something different. So then I had to adjust my character, give him new ways to be shy. And that's how I do theater. I can't do it like, oh, I'm just going to play and with the information and that's it. I have to create the person and really do it. And it's not really method like people think. It's just... Yeah, and it actually leads me to the question, like, do you think acting is a lie or a pretend? Or is it is acting quite entirely, completely something different?
I think it's more complex than a lie. I think it's what I love the most. I think with acting is that I can do a research in humanity. That how people act and react on things, how your past is making you as a human, trying to understand horrible people,
Yes.
what make them do these things, and so for me it's not lying.
Okay.
I think
It's
also
it's a form of it. Like acting is cool because you act something, but most of the time it's also you are something.
Yeah, it's a
You
creation.
become
a
something,
bit.
or not really becoming it, but you you yeah. In Dutch I would say it is zijn. So it's being. It's yeah.
yeah, and I also think to when you want to talk about a lie, with a lie you have the expectation of truth, but when people go to theater, there's not the expectation that it's truly true. You know it's acting. I think that's also why the political person
Yeah.
becomes so scary, because all of a sudden that's not clear anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
where's the boundaries? Where's the
completely.
line?
Yeah. So there you start playing with that line, but I think it's really interesting, and I also think it's beautiful that people reacted to it,
Yeah,
that they
me
not
too.
ignored it.
Yeah,
But then,
yeah.
of course,
Super interesting. And it's also funny because this Instagram account is still there. And a friend of me texted me a couple of weeks ago. Watch out! Somebody's using your.
Oh, no.
Yes. Like, no, the character of me, I was using her. So yeah, it's still there.
Oh my god! My internet or my Instagram also got hacked last year.
Oh.
Yeah, but actually in a way I'm grateful for it because it was such a mess. And yeah, I think growing up I had ADHD. There were things that I've always had ADHD since I was 8. I felt I got tested and they told me I have ADHD. So growing up I was always such a mess, but I try to control certain things that I can control and let my ADHD mess certain things up that isn't too important, like my Instagram. So like I'll post weird photos, every photo that I see, I'll just post it. And so when I got hacked, I was like very chill about it. And my friends were like, I'll be so pissed, man, I'll give up on life, man, I'll stay at home, I'll not do anything. And I'm like so chill about it that it pissed them off. I'm like, it's just an Instagram, it's just an app. My life isn't. All the pictures are on my phone. I can look at them if I want. And to be honest, when I post stuff on that Instagram, I didn't used to look at them anymore. I was like, I don't care. But now, like, I have this new Instagram account and it's growing, and I'm putting a lot of work in it. And if someone hacks it, I'll kill them. I'll hunt them down and kill them. Now I understand what they mean by I will stay at home and not do that. I will kill them. There's a lot of work put into this, okay? But
But do you use your Instagram as your kind of your website to show what you're doing?
yeah, I think that's specifically why I created this Instagram, to promote my work and to promote my things, the things that I'm doing as well, like to express myself a bit. And right now I'm like very curious because I just had a question in my head, like, how do you express yourself as a physical actor?
what do you mean?
Emotional wise, how do you express it?
You mean literally if I want to portray like anger on stage?
Yeah.
That's a complex question.
Yeah.
Because if I would just be all alone on stage and there would be no context, so there would be no backstory, it's hard to put in words because, of course, I don't use words. I think a lot has to do with tension and with the direction of tension, which anger is for me very... It's also personal, of course, but really stuck in a way, and it breaks. So I would, and when it breaks, you don't control it. So it
just comes out.
Yeah, it overtakes your body. I also my face works a lot as well when I'm portraying feelings. So I think I would express it all, or if I had to put it in words, I would have like this scale of tension, and where the tension flows, where sadness is also very moving. I think it's really weird to put it in words because I can never do this.
It's a difficult question, I think.
So it's about tension and directing the tension, and then also just like acting, I think experiencing it, just feeling it, and then context becomes really important, because things can look like anger but be very clearly sadness, because of the context of the story.
True. That's true. True.
Yeah, I also don't think it's really good to put too much word on it.
Yeah, but it's actually understandable. But for me, like, I'm also thinking about the line between fake emotions and real emotions, and I don't know. I don't really want to use the word fake, because there is an emotional side of acting that you can bring out, but it's not from you. But it's the same emotion, the same style, but it's not from you, and it still gets audience in a different way than when it comes from you. Do you guys have you guys like kind of experienced that before? Like that? Do you know the difference also between that?
Yeah, it's all the time a little bit searching. Every time again, like how much do you take from yourself? How much do you take from your imagination? And then especially in theater, you can also. It depends also what does this play, or what is this. What we want to say, what does it need? Does it need very realistic character play, or does it need big and grotesque things? And it's always a little bit searching from that, because when it's big and grotesque, I can like, and I don't really feel the pain. But there is a huge difference, I think, because even if you go grotesque, you always have to be connected with yourself, because otherwise I think it's fake. And if I'm doing like and it's not connecting with something that I think or feel or whatever, then I don't like to watch it. But it depends. It's always and for every actor it's also different. And that's super interesting, because I know there are actors who always that I think they're very good, and they touch me a lot, and they say I don't feel a shit. And if I play, I always connect it very much with myself. So it depends.
Those people could be psychopaths. I'm just saying.
They're very kind.
Yeah, they're like, and then after the performance is done, you're like, and then you're like, wow, how do you do that? Like, don't bring yourself into the performance as well. Like, you connect with yourself a lot, that when you come out, there are people that I've seen, they perform, they come out and they're still crying. They can't shut it out. But there are people, they cry and perform there, and they're coming out, the tears are rolling, but they're smiling, like, or doing something completely less emotional than what they were doing there. And it's very scary sometimes for me as well.
Yeah, but I think also that it's really important to be able to separate those two worlds. Like my first acting role, where I was just acting, I was quite young as well, and we played like we played a piece of Marlowe, Edward II, in which I had to play the bad guy. So I had to kill the king at the end. But it was really curious, because you go really into this character study of bringing yourself to this place where you're able to kill somebody. And that's an intention you don't want to take home.
Okay.
In no circumstance you want to take that off the stage with you. So you had to be really conscious of going into the theater format, into the mindset, and then leaving it there. So in that way, I can really understand that you just it are just two different worlds.
Yeah, okay. From that point of view, I get it now.
I think it's also healthy that you can make this switch. But for example, sometimes I just also really enjoy it to stay in it, and I also like to know, like if I go outside, and I'm I'm working on a character, and if I go outside, then I start to walk as the character, or look how it did move, how it did, and I like it a lot if I just do it while I'm walking to the supermarket, because then it's like real, or a thing. If I'm doing it in my house, it feels a bit made, and so, but it's not that I'm gonna. I'm like gonna shoot somebody.
You're like me when I'm in the kitchen cooking. I end up dancing and moving around. But like I'm also like, because I've heard from people, and also like from people from Momentum Marcus where I met you.
Yeah.
Actually, and then she became my teacher.
A teacher, yeah.
Sort of.
Coaching or something.
Hey, I also want to be a teacher. He got the props of being your teacher. I want to be a student too. Okay. But when I was there and after you left, I think I had like words around like you're famous.
But famous, yeah.
Are you famous?
She is.
No, I played in a movie, and after you played in a movie, you're maybe people could know you.
Could know you.
Yeah, and I played before as well in some TV series. But that makes you that people could recognize you. Yes, but does it makes you famous?
I mean, because in my head I was like, I have no idea who you are. Actually, that's because I have no idea how most Belgian people who are famous and actors, I have no idea how famous. And even if I know that they're famous, they're friends to me. So I don't see that.
But I'm not. People don't recognize me on the street.
Oh, really?
They don't,
But you do look like a different person in the movie.
Yeah. And also, I was. It's completely different, but I played in soap series as well, like a long time ago, and then people recognized me on the street because I was every day on their
on the TV,
but also not so much. So no, I'm not that famous that I can't go to a coffee shop without being recognized.
But to be honest, that you could always go to a coffee shop being famous here in Belgium. Because it's not as heavy as American fame. Like, to be honest, I feel like I love the invincibility. I think I'm also going to keep on saying this to a lot of people. I love the invincibility because it gives me more power than the fame. Because the fame, there is a higher expectation. Like, the moment you're famous, you're asked to be a part of a different movie, but they want what they saw. They want what they saw a bit. I don't know. Is that true?
But it's funny because people now say, "Oh, Laura, now your career will be will go through the roof." Yes, but it's funny because the year between we shot Will and that Will was in the cinema. That year, I didn't have so much work. And now Will is out. And of course, I feel that, for example, before Will, I was maybe once a year asked for an audition. And now it's more. But I also know that this is now because of Will is now, it was like recently in the cinema and now on Netflix. But it could change in a year again. I mean, it's something...
It's an evolving pace. It's a struggling pace
like,
also.
Yeah, for example, Yvette was really something. I loved to play Yvette, the part in Will, but it could be that for these other projects, the parts are not really suitable for me, or other people are doing something with it that's much more interesting for that film, or they already have a girl a girl, I don't know, who has a lower voice and brown hair and is 36, and we need actually somebody who's blonde and very thin, for example, because of the
image-wise.
You have no idea what's going to happen, but I already like I kiss my no, it's an Antwerp saying kiss my bolletjes. Then I kiss my hands that I could do this part in the movie, in this kind of movie. Yeah,
I feel like everyone. I am very glad that you've said everything that you've said, because in my mind, also in a lot of people that I know, their mind, if you become famous, that's it. You get more projects, you get recognition, you get this. But I didn't know that there was also a little bit of a struggle dimension in there as well.
Yeah, but yeah, famous. That's the thing. I don't think I'm famous.
Yeah, I mean,
People could recognize me
you
because
just
I
said
did
you're not
something.
famous, so in my head, I'm like, okay,
yeah.
you're okay now.
And no, of course. I mean, yeah, of course, people saw you now, and for a lot of people, before you didn't exist, and now you're existing, and that's cool and that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And how do you choose your roles?
And I mean, with people, like other directors and stuff like that, they didn't know me, and now they know
They
that
know
that
that
I
you can do
exist.
something.
Yeah, and that I exist, and so that's nice. But yeah, it's not immediately like, oh, that I'm asked now for everything.
And how do you both choose your? Oh, you want to say something?
Yeah, if I can add to that.
Yeah.
Because, well, I'm in an environment with a lot of people at the beginning of their careers, a lot of young people. Well, we're all very young still here.
Yeah.
Yes. But I can feel that there, with a lot of people, there is this idea of making it, and that there will be like this shifting point where the roles will come to you in a way. And not that I have been in that many projects, but you can really feel with all the people I talk to that there is just, you cannot wait for that, or you just
have to chase for it.
Yeah, and you also just have to really like what you're doing.
Like, but that's so important what you say.
Yeah.
Because it's also because of this kind of peace of mind that you just like the things that you are doing, and maybe it's not standing on the big stage in the Burla but you're just enjoying what you're doing. Then because you're enjoying things, you're a better player as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
And because that's the biggest part. If you look at an actor who's not amusing himself, that's not working.
I know.
And for me, it was the same. I mean, the summer I did the audition for this movie, I was really like, okay, I'm not the greatest actress, and that's completely fine. As long as I have fun with the projects that I do, I don't need to be,
the best of the best.
Yeah, no. And then that summer came this audition, and I went to that audition more like, let's see, just have some fun. I was already with Steph Arts. He's a great actor.
Yes.
I know. I thought, okay, let's have some, and that worked.
You said something before earlier about like asking, like you get asked. Why don't you go searching for the casting calls yourself?
Yeah, you're right. Because I'm not a pusher. I'm really bad in selling myself. So and most of the times, it's just casting directors who but it's important if you want. It's important to email them enough. After every 3 months,
every 3 months,
email them again, new pictures, maybe some new video material, or invite them for projects. Pardon, sorry. That I did, but
you like apologizing.
It's a cola.
Yeah.
It's a cola.
Stupid cola.
But it's they have to think of you when they see a part, and but it's good to email them
and remind them a bit. I think it's
and
very
I heard
important.
also if you're on this in the picture account. If you are on this somebody else, it's good to refresh your photos from time to time.
It's good, but
because then
people
you
forget.
get and then you get also back in I don't know, it's something algorithm wise then you're
it reminds them that you're still alive.
Yeah.
That you haven't died because of an alien crash or something. But I really get curious all the time. That's what this podcast is about. Because of my curiosity, I like to ask questions and get know stuff. And sometimes I know this stuff, but different perspective changes how I also know that stuff that I know. And I love that I have you both here so that I can ask you every question that I want to ask. Like, for example, I also want to ask, I want to ask I want to ask this question to you. Like, if you had the ability to be in an actress or an actor's shoe for just one day, who would it be? Like any famous actor or actress. It can be here or in outside of Belgium.
Yeah, oof, wow, there are a lot. There are a lot.
Yes.
Actually, maybe like maybe an actress from the 50s or something.
What? I didn't expect that.
Just to see how it was back, because you have like the wildest, I have the wildest fantasy about it, that they were like the real divas, and they had to play all a bit like this and stuff like that. And back then an actress was really like, wow, they had like, they were royalty.
Yeah.
So maybe once like into I don't know. What's her name? Oh, it's not Bette Midler, but the other one.
From which movie or TV show?
Oh God, I can't. Oh, what's her name? Not Betty Davis, but the other one.
Go
They
get
play
coffee.
together in a couple of movies. Yeah, maybe I will come on.
So go get your coffee, and when you come back, you figure it out.
John Crawford.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, maybe yes.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Just also because I think she's an interesting person.
Well, okay, then it's very acceptable. Yeah, I'm not gonna judge you on that choice then.
One day, yeah.
You guys
Not
just
like a
wanted to
whole
know.
life. Yeah.
And you, do you have some preferences?
I would love to be Viggo Mortensen when he's playing Aragorn for a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's just, for me, it's really fun because I grew up with a Lord of the Rings. I think a lot of people did, but it was just, I remember watching like the behind the scenes clips, and I just really loved it. The way he carried himself and the way he carried the role and the commitment to the role. Yeah.
I constantly forget who I like. Well, like, because every movie I watch, if I find an actress or an actor, it kind of refreshes the one that I liked, and then replaces it with them. At this point, I don't know. There is a very, very great actor that I've always wanted to. I would love to like be in their shoe. I think it's Denzel Washington. Yeah,
Nice.
I would love, because he's so philosophical. He's so like, the way he embodies a role is so inspiring to me. I want to be like him a bit, like in a way, and also like it's quite a different direction because I'm mostly kind of funny, and there's a Washington. I don't think he can play any funny roles like to that extent. I mean, I've never seen him play that Kevin Hart or Chris Rock kind of funny one. So I think it's a very different direction, but I would love to be him in one day, just for one day. I like my funny vibes, so one day is enough. Yeah, but also like I'm thinking, what animal do you think you would want to be? Like if you had also one day, what animal would you like to be?
It's really funny because when I was younger, I had all these like panther and tiger animals. But the past years, I always say bison.
Bison.
Yeah, I love them.
From the Avatar movie, or
No, the real life on this earth bison.
Wait, I've never seen a bison before. Then
No?
I thought
Beautiful.
it was a fictional animal.
No. They do exist.
Really? Okay.
How to describe them? Yeah, they live in these big herds. They're often associated with like the Native American population, and they're this huge, powerful, very symbolic
the bison,
animal.
the bison.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry.
Wow. I mean, it's so close to the English.
Sorry, of course it's a bison.
Yeah. I hope it's the right English word. Actually, I guess so. But yeah, I just love this feeling of the group, that they're so powerful to me in being together and traveling together, and they're also really symbolic animals, which I really like.
By the way, if you hear any clicking sound, that's my favorite person, Brit. Yeah, she's right behind me taking photos of us.
Yes.
And if I can't edit it out of the podcast, please enjoy listening to also the clicks. These are ways to promote the podcast as well. So yeah, keep taking photos, okay? Take only my good side, okay? I don't care about them though. But like these questions that I ask also like are very important to me because I want to get to know both of you. And you I've never met in real life before, and you have met, and I love you as a person. I love your energy. And I felt like when I met you, I knew who you were.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's why today I felt
You're
like
famous.
not because she was famous, but because I actually felt like I knew you a bit. Like we've known each other a few times before now. That's because
I think maybe only one time.
yeah.
Am I now?
Yeah, no, we've met, but I felt in myself that I've known you a few times before meeting you that day.
Yeah.
And
It
today,
was early on a Saturday morning.
yeah. So because today I was like walking around and I started thinking about you. I was like, yeah, I have a feeling like because I know Annelore's might come late, so I'm gonna like smoothly put out a feeler so that you know. And I was like very very cool about it. I was very chill.
I forgot it.
Yeah, see?
Oh no, was it now? No, in half an hour, but I had the feeling that I should text you.
Yeah, but that's why I feel it because
Beautiful.
I knew exactly, and it's also not a problem for me. I like people who are later than not showing up. If you don't show up, then you and I have a problem. I'm not an angry person, but like as a problem as in I'm probably not. I'm gonna avoid you for a bit or
The
something.
first time you met, I was also late.
Yeah, but every artist
why.
is also a person who always comes late. So it's made my expectation of working with artists much easier. Like I'm like, okay, I'm planning this at 3:30, but I'm not gonna tell them it's 3:30. I'm gonna tell them it's 4:30. And then when they come, they're pretending that they're late at 3 o'clock. I'm like, I'm so mad. Okay, you know what? It's okay. Just come. But I'm really like, I'm glad at myself for planning that way. Also, but I think I also read people well enough to know how to navigate through like sending you the real time and sending you a bit earlier time. So like and also with you, when I was testing you, I got the vibe that you're just this kind of guy. But I think now seeing you in real life, I think I like that my confirmations are like confirmed because I felt like you will be on time.
Yes.
I felt
I like
you will be
being on time.
but I wasn't very sure until you came on time. I was like, okay.
Yeah, and I have to say, I often find this quite a difficult thing in the artist community, in how to communicate and how to, plan. It's not that easy in the artist community.
My mind, I think my mind does all the work for me. So all I have to do is type it. But with ADHD, that can sometimes be a difficult thing to do, like typing and typing. So I could have like the entire plan in my head, but then somehow I managed to end up watching Titanic on movie, and I managed to go outside on the park, and then I managed to end up in bed, and then I managed to wake up the next day. I'm like, oh my God, wait, I was supposed to plan something. So like this is how so I have had to train myself a bit like more than usual to plan stuff, and I think I've gotten quite good at it as well. Like yeah.
Yeah, for me, it also just really helps to be creative. When I really like to work efficient and then have time for my brain and my creative brain to recover, to like refuel. So in that way, for me, it's quite important to know that I will be working from this time to this time, and then I have space to like breathe again and to reflect on it.
What's the one food you love to cook? Like, what's your favorite food, and can you cook it?
I cook a lot actually. I really like cooking.
Wow. Okay. That surprised me.
Surprise, surprise.
I'm a guy, so I think I was a little bit biased on that. A little bit
Oh,
biased.
no.
I was like, you're a guy, so you're probably gonna
Um,
avoid it.
I love chicken.
Really? What?
Yes.
That's so simple. Like, I love chicken.
Oh, but to make it like perfect,
Is it the sizzling sound? Like this?
yeah. The moment you like take it out of the oven and you like cut it, and then it has to like. Okay, now we're getting into the food things.
So,
Yeah,
you
it's
can make
amazing.
chicken in the oven.
Yeah, I love it. And the beautiful thing with chicken, this is a really weird conversation. Okay, but the beautiful thing with the chicken is you can use the bones to make the soup afterwards. So you can like really use everything, and it's really healthy.
Oh my god.
I would love to go and eat chicken at your place.
I'll invite all of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Then also chicken soup. I love
Yes.
chicken soup.
Oh.
It's really good.
I love to. I think I tasted. I don't like a lot of Belgium soups, but I think chicken soup is for me really awesome. I love chicken soup in Belgium. Yeah, I tasted one in Amsterdam and it was like, mwah.
Sorry, what did you say? I love chicken soups in Belgium. I tasted one in
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, I always combine Belgium and Amsterdam together. I don't separate
Yeah.
it. Oh man, sorry for the
but the
confusion.
soups that you liked are the Ghanese soups.
Yeah, Ghanese soups are awesome.
So different, yeah.
I think they're very very different because they're very tasty. And, and when I taste Belgium soup, I feel like I don't even taste the salt, and I feel like for some soups I go crazy. But here's the thing: sometimes I don't feel the salt, so I try adding salt in it, and then it makes it taste differently. So I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I love chicken soup. That I do love.
Perfect.
Yeah. But are there any tips and tricks that you people have had in your careers that you can give to people who want to be an artist or an actress or whatever? Or a physical actor also?
I think for me the biggest thing we've actually already said, but it's following the enjoyment and really focusing on doing what you like, because otherwise you would get burned out. And also what this kind of work we're doing, it's so personal.
Yeah,
But
it is.
but at the same time, you cannot make it personal. When you go to an audition and they don't take you, if you're gonna be touched by every audition, and of course it's human and it's really
Yeah.
difficult, but you won't get through it. It's just too heavy. So you really have to start out of this feeling of joy. And for me, like I'm leaning more and more towards storytelling and writing myself. Just start from that joy and the need to tell something, and then the rest will follow, hopefully.
How do you handle rejection?
It's really you shouldn't take it personal. If every audition that you do, you see as a huge opportunity and my life can change, then it's a huge disappointment.
Okay.
So I try to see it every time now, an audition, as an exercise in acting.
Okay.
As an exercise, as an opportunity to
Grow.
to grow and to play. And then it's less a rejection, because it's not, most of the times if you're already acting for a while and you're asked for an audition, it's not really, we're gonna test if she's good enough. It's more, let's see what she does or he does or they do with the character.
Okay.
And to see does
To
it
see
fit
how they
or
can
not.
play with it.
Yeah, I mean, not always it's like that, but it's sometimes really like that, and then it's more like was not really suitable for it. Or I was once also they were choosing between me and another actress to play a head part in a series, and then they chose the other person because she was more famous. Sometimes it's also about all these things where you can't control. I think your tip, even is really, really
Important.
important.
And just enjoy and have
yourself
fun.
with it,
Yeah.
because it's because you love it that you do it, and it's horrible sometimes, the job, because you don't always can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 10% of all the actors in Belgium who can earn
Really
their living
yeah.
by acting. 10%.
Yeah,
It's not much, so it's
yeah,
normal that you have to do other things, and it's and then. Yeah, sometimes as well, because I'm a person who doubt a lot, and I'm a person who think a lot, and who is quite insecure, and then this job can be very hard, because every time you have to make choices. Am I going to do this or going to do that? Oh my God, am I good enough? And yeah, but then if you're able to do it, it's the most beautiful thing to do. So yeah, take the shit with it.
And you said something about like also like it can be very difficult because of like all the things that you have to go through, like fame, and they choose different person who is famous and all of that. Like also like what are the financial aspects to it? Like you as a person, do you like do other jobs? So, and while waiting to get yourself a...
No, well, in the beginning when I graduated, I started to work in a cafe, in a restaurant first, because you just have to earn a living. And then I played for free a lot in pieces of friends or people who were still at school. And then one piece got picked up. We could play it at Theater aan Zee. Then we decided with a bunch of people to start an own collective. Most of it, I think, most of the time I worked for free, and I worked to earn a living in cafes and restaurants. And then at a certain point, I had this part in this soap series, which I doubted to do, because you graduate from theater school and you think, no, I want to do theater.
You want to do something bigger.
Yeah, but then I talked with a lot of people about it, and they were also like, yeah, but do it. Do it because you will get also something from it. I learned a lot from it, and as well, after that I could get an artiestenstatuut, and that made me that I could work on the things that I love, like for example that collective and things, personal work, where you don't have always the money for, but then with this artiestenstatuut you have a little bit more freedom, financial freedom. To do those things.
And what is artistic statutes?
Now it's called different again. It's actually it's a
Can
safe
you
net.
say it again? Can you say kunst what's it?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think kunstwerkstatuut, something like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's very important that you guys also hear that. It's
it's a safety net that actually, because our job is so period-wise, it's like from project to project. So that you can, in between project, that you can get an unemployment fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how, if you don't want to answer, that's okay. But how much do you mostly receive?
No, it depends on how. I don't know, because it changed completely, the way to get it, the way to keep it, and I did not study it yet on that. So I can't really say for now how it works or how much you can get. But back then it's not so interesting, I think, because
because not anymore.
People, this information is not. You have to work in a year and a half, a couple of days. Like there's a certain amount of days that you have to work as an artist, and there could be of that amount of days, a couple of days like non-artistic work, and that you have to prove. And then if you worked enough as an artist, then you're officially an artist, and then you can get in this unemployment.
And do you have to take photos and videos of what you're doing as
contracts.
proof?
Contracts. You really need paid jobs.
So basically, the company that you're working for, the theater, whatever, they have to give you contracts for you to sign, and
but
you have to
earn money with it.
So you can send it to them.
It's these really contracts where you earn money with it.
Okay.
It's not like you have to prove that you're a professional artist.
And now they also added that when you graduate from art school, you can also just get it. So that's one of the big changes.
You don't have to prove days anymore.
As well. If you didn't study, I'm hope I'm getting this right. If you didn't study, because they came to school to talk about it, but I didn't know. So if you didn't study, you have to prove. that you're working, and if you did study and graduated, you can get it. But then they also come and like you, if you can get it like for the less amount of time, for like only 2 years, and after the 2 years you have to prove that you're
still doing
That
it.
you're still doing the work, something like that.
Okay.
But check it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. This is the first time I hear this, and
Yeah,
I start to read it already. But it's always so complicated.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay. There's a lot of information that has been shared about that, because for me, I feel like when I found out about it, I found it out about it very early, so I got well versed in it, and none of my friends who were artists knew about it. So everyone was talking about their problems, and then I always ended up like giving them advice about it, but they never did anything with it because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know that they had to prove something or sign contracts or whatever. And it was something that they just, because artists sometimes, when we don't really kind of sometimes go full in, I would say. And because they didn't know stuff, they just let it go, and it became difficult for them as well, financial wise.
Because for me to get into it, in this unemployment fee, I really looked it up, really searched. And as well, we were in a collective of people working together. And we also, like, for example, when we got funding, but not enough to pay everybody for the full project, we were also looking, okay, who has this unemployment fee? Okay, so, and who has it not? And then the people who didn't have it, we gave more
to them.
Yeah, more to them. It's just, to be a bit
balanced.
But officially, that's not something you can do. But we did because you want to help each other out as artists. Like you said, we try to share information. We try to, because it's not easy. Yeah.
I have one last question in the financial aspect.
And
then
also
we can
for
move
the
on.
unemployment fee, every year you have to prove that you work as an artist. So it's not that you can have it and then just be like, I don't have to work anymore. I can do everything that I want for free. Yeah. That's not
so
true.
Every year you have to sort out the
and
contracts.
It's also not that much money that you can
it's not. You still have to find ways to make more living or earn more.
Yeah, and also you want that. I mean,
of course.
You want to work, because I know a lot of people. This whole unemployment fee for artists is tricky.
Okay.
For right-wing parties and stuff like that, it's very like what
something.
Yeah, something. But so that's why I'm always careful to talk about it, because it's the thing. What artists want, they want to work and they want to get paid for their work, and there's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, the cutting in fundings and stuff like that. I mean, what happened in Antwerp like last year?
It was very, very difficult. I was actually a part of the protest. That was one of the big, because normally I really feel like there are certain things in protest that I don't agree with, because we protest and most things don't change. And that is something that really, I don't like fighting for something that I feel like nothing's gonna change. So there are a lot of protests that I'm on your side and I agree and I want to protest, but I don't want to go and stand there and protest knowing that in 5 months or 6 months it's gonna be forgotten and nothing's gonna change. So when this came, that was the first protest I ever went to. That was my first ever protest, and I enjoyed it. I even did poetry there as well.
Yeah, it was a nice initiative. Yeah, it was a beautiful initiative.
But I want to talk about taxes. I because do artists pay taxes? Because
they pay taxes.
But to be honest, I don't really know much about taxes. I don't know.
But in Belgium, it's quite easy, because if you're paid for a job, like if they inscribe you, like a paid employee, like a part of that, it goes immediately to the state, a part of your salary.
And what about being an artist? Like the money you get as an artist, what if it's like very small? And also, do you pay per year or per month?
But I think it doesn't exist anymore. So maybe it's not good, but before you had KVR, it's gone,
it
right?
exists, but then it's only for amateurs now.
Yeah.
So when you're an amateur and you're not like really making a living, you do have this format in which you can earn a little bit of money and you don't have to pay taxes on it. It's still called KVR?
It still exists.
It doesn't. It's not called anymore.
they've changed the name,
Yeah, they changed the
and
name.
also they're trying to give more information to organizations out there about what it is and blah blah. And I don't know if they've given. I've never been to one of their info places, but I feel like it still exists because I recently got paid for caviar as well. So
But I think because I also got the KVR statute like a while ago, like it still counts, but I just cannot renew it. Something like that.
Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah, and for example, as a professional artist, you can't use it anymore.
yeah.
So technically, you have to pay taxes. Then like I think this tip will be very good for people. I think it's Ampro. If you guys know Ampro, right?
Amplo, yeah.
Yeah. Do you use it as well?
Yeah, I use it.
That's great. It's a very
I
great
don't know
place.
if it's. I don't know because I heard as well that there are other SBKs.
Yes, there are. There are.
Who are like I forgot the name, but there is one that's more it's only working with artists, I think, and they like sharing much more. Employees taking 10% and taking everything but they're doing excellent work.
Excellent job.
I work with them a lot. Also because a lot of times, for example, if I go and teach at your school, they have a connection with Amplo, so they like it. A lot of places have this connection with Amplo. Yeah.
Hey, all right, and let's go back because we've talked about the financial part a bit longer than because it's also very important as an artist to know all these things. But I have a few like two questions, and then because we are running out of time, and I want to know also like for example, I got curious about how long have you been doing your physical acting? I don't know if I've asked it yet, but how long?
I think I did my first bigger physical production when I was in third grade of high school. So I must have been like 15, 14, something like that. But then, of course, I was just still in school, so it was not that I was doing full-time. I've never been doing like really a year of full-time projects because also there's not... Yeah, you're just starting and you get a job and you cannot combine all the questions you get. And so I also did the cafe, restaurant, all that stuff. So yeah, from 14 and then off and on, when the projects came, and you take them and then...
And also like, what... Wait, I had a question I just forgot. God damn it.
No problem.
But it was actually a very interesting question. I think it was about being like, oh, come on, please. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to you. I think it was very, very good question. I don't know why I forgot it. It had something to do with what are the challenges of being a physical actor?
You mean on stage, like how...
pushing yourself and injuries and all of that, like they're part of your life as a physical...
injuries suck. That's of course, but it's actually, I think, the same thing as an actor. And with an actor, it's maybe a bit more the voice, but also the body. If your body gives out for any reason, you have to deal with it, and you're not able to perform as you originally wanted. So there's mostly with injuries two options: you either get out of the project,
or you keep pushing.
Or
people do that.
Yeah, but that's often not like... I prefer to, if you choose and in conversation with the people who make the piece and who you work with, sometimes it can give new impulses. Sometimes it can be inspiring when you cannot use an arm, or when so in that way either you use it or you don't do it. It's but because I also do quite a lot of sports and I also train in martial arts, and one of the things you learn when you push your body to... I'm not like this big athletic person, but when you use your body that much, you really have to learn where the boundaries are.
Okay.
I think it's a general thing, but pushing is really good when you feel that you're holding yourself in. But when you're not holding yourself in, pushing even further can often just be destructive. So it is this constant feeling, but now I'm just talking about life. It's this constant, this feeling process of what is my mental struggles, and where am I like not sure of myself or a bit scared, and where is just like taking care of me. Like there's this sweet spot in between where you can try a lot of things out and go really big, but then also take care of yourself.
Okay.
And then also I think a big mistake people make in physical work is thinking that bigger is better. When I was talking about the hand before,
Smaller can also be better as well.
Just two people standing in a room, and then after some time one people taking a little step closer, it can be so beautiful. So it's really starting from what do you want to tell more than what can I do with my body. That's also something, that's also an art, but that's not what I'm mostly interested in.
Okay. And for example, I want to ask you this question because I feel like I want to really know what your answer is gonna be. How do you collaborate with directors, writers, producers as an actress on set, like in a cohesive environment, whether toxic or safe? How do you collaborate with all these creative people?
I think that communication and trust is very important. And I think communication is there very important. And dare to say if something doesn't feel right, dare to trust on this gut. And I think it's very interesting what you said, Ebe. There's a soft spot between is it my insecurity, is it my fear, or is it really a boundary of so, and that's something that you have to find out for yourself. And in this searching process, you make mistakes, and people also make mistakes, but I think that's normal. We're people. But I think looking out for yourself is important.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the last question, which I'm gonna ask both of you.
But also, I think that we should also be careful, because acting is sometimes it's something so
Fragile.
Fragile. Yeah. So sometimes you also want to go. You want to cross a border from yourself also, because you want to get out of your comfort zone, and that's also important. Don't be stubborn on no. This is
experiments and research.
Stay close to yourself, but also don't be scared to do something maybe that's not in your comfort zone, because sometimes there you can surprise yourself and surprise others. But stay close to yourself.
Wow. That's a very beautiful
but
thing to say.
don't like block it all. But it's difficult.
It's a sweet spot.
It's super difficult because it's also not. I mean, you make mistakes and you go. You sometimes think, shit, that was my border, and now I went completely over it. But that's okay. But then also communicate.
Okay.
And always, I think that's something. You don't have to like each other the whole time, but you have to respect each other.
Respect the craft
and
as well.
The moment that you're actors on a stage, you have to love each other.
Okay.
And take care of each other. Yeah.
Okay. And I think also, if I can add one more thing on that, it's like I think also dare to try out, and then while doing it, still communicating.
Yes.
So like.
Yeah.
I can often feel also when we're talking about a project and it's like something where we're pushing boundaries, we keep on talking about it, but sometimes you have to feel it. And then the moment we get on stage, like you can say, no, okay, this is a boundary, but then it can also turn out to be okay. So I think it's also important to dare to communicate while you're trying out.
Wow. Sometimes it's also like you have this actor or actress or who like loves to improvise, and then you're like, then they're pushing you to get to a different boundary than you normally expected to be on, or and it can be also challenging as well, like when someone pushes you So you have to also be, like you said, communicative to the people. So if they're improvising, you think it's a good idea to also improvise with them, do it, and just figure out the journeys. And I think that's what I love about acting. The journey. When you meet a person, they're all different. I think acting with you will be so different than acting with
Of course.
and you just can't expect everything to always be the same with the person that you acted or performed with previously. So I think that's for me. That's what gives me the joy, knowing people, because I have this incredible ability to read people. So yeah, knowing people is something that I really love, and combining it with my acting styles and things that I want to do on theater or in TV or movies. I haven't gotten a lot of roles in movies and theater, so casting agencies, I'm here. But theater, for example, like all the things that I do, I love the research and the dedication towards it. And for me, I don't really truly have a boundary. You can push me as much. I'm very communicative, so you can push me. If you need to push, you can experiment on me however you want. But I think it's very good that you also have conversations because you don't know people. So you have to ask and you have to share. I think we're going to end it here. Yeah,
Nice.
we've had such a beautiful conversation.
Thank you.
We've traveled from what is it like to be an artist, for your process, how you became an actor or a physical actor. And we've gone to finance, we've talked about protest somehow in there. And it's been such an incredible conversation. I never know how to say goodbye on the podcast.
Goodbye.
Yeah, just keep it simple. Okay. Like, follow, share, comment. I always see people do this on the podcast, so I'm gonna copy them. Like, follow, share, comment, and what else? What else?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Yes.
Subscribe. And if you don't, I am gonna cry. So please do it. And anyways, have a great day, have a great night, have a great whatever, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. We're done.
Merci.